it's Cindy. This is our Basics and Beyond class, level 2. If you have any questions on anything we covered today in class, you can email me at irietribal@yahoo.com. You can find me on Facebook and you can shoot me a personal message there. And for more information on classes, visit www.irietribal.com/class info. Have a good time and keep on dancing. This is week 1, woohoo, of the new session in July. And if this session is anything like last session, it's gonna be week 5 just like that. Because I don't know where June went. It just automatically came in and it's gone now. So, but we're gonna make the best of it. So, thank you for joining. The level 2 class, I'm doing this session as a true level 2. And I'm gonna do everything backwards. So normally, if you guys know me, which you do, I start hard and heavy and fast. This session, I want to be able to get into more of the slow movements and more of the slow mechanics of movements. So we're going to go from the slow moves forward. So what I'm going to try to do is today we're doing all slow movements. And what I'm going to try to do is every class we're going to do slow movements and fast movements, half hour of each. That way we kind of get an equal balance. But I'm kind of a road warrior and just let's go. So I tend to always do fast, but I need to slow down. Also, I have a bad knee, so I'm kind of babying it this week too. When you join the online class, the announcements, there is this page. This whole thing here is a list of all the movements we cover in class, levels 1 through levels 3+. Okay, and then there's also some dialect movements, but those aren't on there. So if you print this off and have this handy, what you can do is before class or whenever you like, you can look through it and say, hey, can we work on this move in this class? And I will kind of gear it towards that. So if I have special requests for movements, we'll go ahead and do those too, okay? So this is, I carry this with me all the time. This is probably like my 3rd copy of it. So this thing I keep everywhere. I've got a copy everywhere. My husband's just like, what's this? I'm like, that's it. So today we are going to cover our reverse Taxeem. We're going to kind of do a comparison between our reverse Taxeem and our regular Taxeem. We're going to do the Ribcage Rotation. We're going to do walking Taxeem, walking Bodywave. We did those at the end of last session, so we're bringing them here to this session, and Headslides. So it's going to be all concentrating on the mechanics, the internal movement, the muscular movements, the postures, the angle, and the arm positions of all these movements. So you get the biggest bang for your buck. Fluid and grace and strength. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a slow song, and we're going to do some stretching of the muscles we're going to use, so that way we don't hurt tomorrow morning or later on today. So. Our posture is, we know that when we come into our fat chest belly dance class or ATS class, I still call it ATS, I know it's bad, but I'm trying. I've been dancing for a long time, so I'm trying to break the habit. But I still dance in my ATS box. I haven't quite renamed it yet. So you know you dance in your ATS box. You know that that box is mobile, it moves, it changes, and it shrinks and it gets bigger. Or yeah, it shrinks and gets bigger. So depending on where your audience is, that's where the front of your box is. So if you have audience on all sides, you have a bonus, you have 4 fronts of the box. So it works out great. It also helps you stay in your performance angle. The other thing that I like to give out when I do my classes, I like to give out the ATS hoop. So that hoop goes in the front of your box, and that's actually the range of motion that you have for your arms. Everybody's hoop is different because everybody's arms are different and everybody's body is different. So mine, because I have really stupid long arms, my hoop starts here above my head and then goes out to that front of that ATS box, up and then back around. It goes out to the front and then back around. So that helps me to be able to not close off my body to the audience, because if you look where my arm actually goes, it goes out and then around and then back up. So even though it's at the front of your box, it's more or less sitting like this. So it's sitting at an angle. So the top of it is here, but the bottom of it is here. Okay, so that way you're not crossing over your chest and really sweeping into your jewelry and your costuming and breaking it, because then you need to fix it. Or you have a big pile in your corner like I have of all the costuming that I need to fix. So there's that. So that's your ATS hoop, okay? That hoop is going to be amazing when you start doing your barrel turn. It's going to follow that. So think of that as your range of motion and your extension on your arms. I have long arms. Some people have shorter arms, and that's perfectly okay. Whatever works for you, all right? I'm huge into body alignment. I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to be an ortho nurse for years. So I love bones, muscles, and all that stuff. So I like to have the body aligned. And I'll just give you little tips here and there. We're not going to harp on it too much. But I'll give you little tips here and there that's going to make your mobility and your flexibility easier for your body. Okay? So, first thing we do in our ATS box is we put our feet into that left front corner, bend your knees, take your lower abs and like zip them up. Like we have a little zipper just right there, and that kind of tightens those lower abs, but it leaves your butt still free. Okay, so you don't want to clench your cheeks because you can't really shimmy like this. You could, but you shouldn't. Disclaimer. So you're here. Lower abs are nice and engaged. So what you're basically doing is you're rocking your hips forward. That's all it is. So it's kind of that little cradle that we have. Rock those hips forward. So then you're going to take all of your rib muscles, your intercostal muscles, and you're going to take those muscles, you're going to lace them in, and then pull them up. So it's going to go in and up. And that's how you lift your chest. So when I say lift your chest, I don't mean go like this. Because what that does is arch your back. When I say lift your chest, I want you to roll in and lift your chest. So you're here, right? You're going to roll in and lift your chest straight up. So do you remember when you were little? And I'm short, so people still do this to me. It annoys me. But they come up behind you and pick you up, and how all of a sudden you're like, whoa, right? So that's kind of the feel you're looking at. Okay, so we're here. Knees bent, hips tilted, roll in and then up. So like I said, those muscles are going to come in and then you're going to pull yourself up. What I want you to do now is take your shoulders, lift them up to your ears. I know this sounds silly. And I want you to roll them into your back. So you're going to go from here and you're going to just roll them right into your back. That's going to force your arms to come up. So if you're here and you roll your shoulders back, your arms will automatically come back. So if you take your arms out like this, your arms will only go so far before you engage your back muscles. And that's when your arms go above your head. So this is the same thing. So you're actually taking your arm and you're rolling them back into your lat muscles. Here. So we're here, right? Engaged, up, rolled, and back. If our muscles are in our back. To open up to your audience, I do not want you to do this. Twist. What that did was twist my spine, and it's very likely to have a spine injury, all right? Especially if you do it for long periods of time. So what I want you to do is this right arm, what you're going to do is you're going to take that back lat muscle and pull it back. So you're here, right, in that corner. You're going to take your right arm and pull it back to here. So you're now open to your audience, but your body is here. So it's still trying to get to that corner. You're open to your audience with this right boob, and then you're here for your audience here. So I'd say probably 85 to 90% of our movement are done in that angle. So if right now you have a lot of this going on, which I do, they're my angel wings. I can wave at you from across the room. What I want you to do is I want you to engage your entire core. So when I say engage your core, most people will engage this and be like, look at my core, it's so strong. But when I say engage your entire core, this is what I want. It's basically ATS posture. Engage your entire core is this. And you see how everything tightened up? This is just my core with these. Just my core is engaged. But this, my entire core. Chest, back, arms, everything is engaged. Alright? So when I move my arms to position, this is position 1 here, move them to position 2 above your head, move them down to position tabletop, and then down to your hips here. So 1, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 1, 3, up to 1, split arm 1, and split arm 2. So if you look, see how engaged my arm is? So what you're trying to do is you're always trying to keep your muscles as engaged as possible. We lead with our elbows, so we always have our elbows above, raised. To keep your elbows up, to train your body, don't dance like this, but to train your body, turn your hands to the back of the room. So if your hands are like this and your arms are doing this, if you take your hands and just turn them to the back of the room, so you see how my elbows went up and my angel wings went up too? So that's what you want to do. And then you need to be able to release your hands but your arms stay in place. So that's just something to work on your own to make sure that posture is nice and strong. Okay? So first movement we're going to get into, we're going to do our regular Taxeem, and then we're going to put right onto our reverse Taxeem. Okay? Our regular Taxeem is done in a less severe performance angle. So if this is our performance angle here, which is that really severe one into the left corner, you're going to take both feet, turn them an inch to your right. That's going to open you up a little bit more. So if you think of your clock face, your noon is here. Noon, 3, 6, 9. That corner where your feet are normally is 10 o'clock. Where your Taxeem is done is between the 10 and the noon. So 11 o'clock, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of this whole 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But what you want to do is when you do this, you want to make sure that you're keeping your upper body in performance angle. So you're here for like your body wave, and then you turn here for your Taxeem. You turn here for your body wave, here for your Taxeem. Body wave, Taxeem, body wave, Taxeem. It's an inch, but believe it or not, that inch is a huge, huge difference in how a movement appears to your audience. All right, so our Taxeem. It's the emphasis on the down. We covered this at level 1. So it is down, 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 down. That's basically all your Taxeem is doing. We add that little nice fluid scoop to it, so it's right and left and right and left and right and left and right and left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Heels are grounded. So you want to make sure that your heels are staying on the ground. You're not doing this. Okay, so you're not bicycling your feet. You want to make sure that you're getting a full extension here. I have a tiny torso, so my extension is not as dramatic as someone with a long torso. So I don't have that big, nice, Axl Rose, welcome to the jungle thing going. I don't, right? I'm like, welcome to the backyard. That's all I got. So, sorry. I'm going to patent that. So, when you go down on your right, all your weight's on your left foot. When you go down on your left, all your weight's on your right foot. So, it's basically a weight shift here. So, your upper body is not doing this and this and this. What your upper body is doing is just looking for stability, okay? So when all the weight is on my left foot, my upper body goes to the left, right? When all the weight is on my right foot, my upper body goes to the right because it doesn't fall. My brain doesn't trust me not to hurt it. So it's looking for stability because it wants to be safe. That's all that is. So we're here. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, it's a lateral figure 8. So it's going down and up, but it's not going front and back. All right, this is the watching machine. This is the Taxeem. Also, try to get your Taxeem out of your obliques because we're going to start walking this. So if you're doing your Taxeem only from your feet, your Taxeem is going to look like this when you walk it. And when you walk it backwards, it's going to look like this because you're getting that Taxeem from your feet. So you want to make sure to be able that your body is moving independently of your legs, okay? So we're here, 1 oblique, and your left oblique, your right oblique, left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? To match your arms and your Taxeems, the way I do it for my hand floreos, I think pinky thumb. So when my thumb rolls over for that Taxeem, my right hip goes down, so it's thumb. And when it comes over for my left, my pinky goes down. So it's thumb and pinky and thumb and pinky and thumb and pinky and thumb and pinky. So that regular floreo is basically here for my right hip and here for my left hip, and then it goes back to that neutral. So thumb, pinky, okay? For your arms, for your arm undulations on this, I push my hips down. Some people pull them up, but I push mine down. So when my right hip goes down, my right arm pushes it down. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So if you want to think of it as pulling it up, like that Jay Leno thing, the whole string that goes behind, it goes, you can think of it as pushing it down and then pulling it up. Pushing it down and pulling it up, down, up, down, up. So whatever works for your brain, that's what I want you to do. Everybody has a little quirk of what they do. I have one of my students, they do a limerick in their head for the whole thing. Works. When you're walking your Taxeem, remember, it is long, elegant steps. All right, so when we're walking our Taxeem, we do it in a straight line, and we don't do it off to the side. Our body stays in that 11 o'clock performance angle, but our Taxeem itself moves in that straight line. So we take long, elegant steps. So it's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And when you go backwards, it's step back 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay? So you should be able to layer at least 2 Taxeems over 1 step. So for here, if you're going to step and your hip will go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I just did 4 of them. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're having your Taxeem is happening, it starts here, but it's actually happening right here. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, as you slowly shift weight. Because what you're doing with your feet is you're doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, step 1, 2, 3, 4, step 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of like you're leading with your right foot down, but you're pushing off with your left foot. So here you're leading with your left foot and you're pushing off with your right foot. Okay? So 5, 6, 7, 8. In place. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In place. Okay? It's kind of awkward. For me, the Taxeem, the walking Taxeem, for me is the most, it's pretty. I like it a lot. I like when other people do it a lot. When I do it, I feel like I'm falling. It doesn't look like I'm falling, but I feel that way. So it messes with my balance a little bit. All right, so going backwards, it's a little bit trickier, but I think I like going backwards better. So you step backwards, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For me, backwards is easier. It's kind of like the wet dog. With the wet dog, you too, Debbie? Yeah. So it's like with the wet dog going backwards is cake. Going forward, I look like the wretched cat. But I just feel it looks smoother for me going backwards. We're going to go forwards and backwards up here. So 5, 6, 7, 8, in place. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, take, go walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's kind of hard to do it with a count because our slow movements don't have counts. We just go by what the music says. And we try to, especially on this one, we try to be as in sync as possible with everyone else. I know this one's hard for everybody to get on the same page with it, but it's not like anybody's going to judge you for being a little off. The world will not stop. If it does, go find a new troop. So it is what it is. All right. So we're going to go straight into our body wave, and then we're going to drill the two. So our body wave, remember, is an internal rotation. So you're really getting deep into your chest and not using your legs. You're not doing this and this and this. That's too hard to move. So when you're here, what you're going to do is reach up, roll back. Reach up, roll back. Reach up, roll back. Chest up, roll back. Forward up, roll back. Forward up, roll back. Forward up, roll back. Forward up, roll back. This one is done in that severe 10 o'clock performance angle, so the audience knows what's going on. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So you want to make sure you're getting a really nice internal rotation as opposed to rocking back and forth. Reason being is the rocking back and forth is going to be more noticeable, but it's going to be harder to control, and it's going to be harder to walk. So when you go to walk that, you're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like a sideways running man, so you don't want to do that. So you figure we're still doing those really long, elegant steps. So we're here, and we're trying to do in performance angle while we're body waving a long, elegant step. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Here you're going to lead with your left going backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even though we are a right side dominant dance, when you're doing your body wave backwards, lead with your left foot. It's going to be a lot easier for you to get the angle you want, and it's going to be easier for you to get the traction and the distance you want with it. So don't try to lead with your right foot. It's not going to work. All right, so we're here. We should be able to layer 2 to 3 body waves over one step. That's what they say. That's what I say. All right. 5, 6, 7, 8, in place. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, take, go, walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good? So you really want to make sure that you're using all of that internal muscularity that you have so you're able to get back and forth. For the body wave, remember 1 arm up, 1 arm out, split position 2, or you can do it with just the 1 arm out, your left arm, or here, okay? Good? Questions, comments, concerns? Music.
no. Wrong one.
melody, I suppose it would be, and the beat of whatever slow song you're doing as to how drawn out those moves are going to be. For me, slower is easier to do the Taxeem, the walking Taxeem, and the walking Bodywave. It's just easier for me to slow. If not, I feel like I'm like running. So the slower the song, the easier it's going to be because you're going to be able to really draw out those steps. For your reverse Taxeem, which we're going to go into right now, think of the same concepts behind the regular Taxeem. So your heels are grounded, you're using your obliques, you're using your hip flexors, you're not using the ground to get that reverse Taxeem. So if your reverse Taxeem looks like this, where you're pedaling your feet to get it, it's going to make it, 1, too bouncy, 2, not right, and 3, you're not going to be able to control it as much. So those are the 3 things. Because this is like a paddle step. It's not a Taxeem. So your reverse Taxeem, instead of on the down emphasis, you're going to emphasize the up and over and out. So your hip is basically going to go up and then push out to the right, down. Your left hip comes up, out to the left, down, out to the right, down, out to the left, down, out to the left, down, out to the right, down, out to the left, down. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You guys will learn this about me before too long. I don't know my left from my right. I actually have it tattooed on my hands. Here it is. There's my shame. It's right there. And I still don't know. So if you ever see me dancing like this, I'm actually just reading myself to see which way I'm going to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So if I say left, but I'm actually going right, just shake your head, smile and nod, it's all good. Usually I'll just say this way and that way. All right, so I'm 5'1". When I dance, I shrink even more. So for this Taxeem, I get way down in my hips because the further down in my knees, these are now hips. So, like my hips. So I get way down into my knees, which releases my hips. So if I'm here, I can actually control my hips better. If my legs are straight, it's harder for me to control what my hips are doing. So the more your knees are bent, the easier it's going to be, okay? So you're here. You're going to go up and over to the right, up and over to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want to make sure that most of the movement's coming from here. Your upper body, again, is going to move some because it's looking for stability. It's done in that 11 o'clock performance angle. Okay, so here is our 10 o'clock, and here's our 11 o'clock. We try to do either Taxeem in this performance angle. What the audience is going to see is this. And they're going to be like, what's going on? So we want to make sure that we give them something to look at while we're still staying in performance angle. Also, you want to make sure that the movement, like I said, is majority of it's coming from your hips. So that way you're not like this with your upper body. You want to be able to keep your upper body as still as you can while it's still graceful. So you're here and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My upper body is moving, but it's not moving a whole lot, okay? So, this Taxeem is done 3 ways. We do it with our hands in position 3, which is down on our hips or our legs. We do it with a big arm undulation. So you know those arm undulations that go here, 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 and here, where we're like, where do we put those? This is the perfect place to put them because it just matches. So on your hips or your ankle, or not your ankles, these are ankles, these are hips. On your hips or your thighs, for your Taxeem there, you can do regular arm undulations here, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can do those big ones, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all they are is basically like an exaggerated arm undulation. Really pretty. You can do your regular smaller arm undulations with it, so you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfectly okay. Just subtle. We usually don't do it with one arm up, but you can. We usually don't do it like this. Not sure why, but I don't see that done a lot. I usually see it with the 2, 1, 2, 3, or those great big ones, or down here when you're in chorus, or above your head. Yes, Margaret's like up here. Yes, or you do it above your head. So I like it above my head, and that's when I like going into my Headslides, because I'm up here anyway, so I may as well like, ooh, right? So above your head. So if you're here, right, you're going to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can change it to those big arm bones, and then small. Okay, so it gives it It gives it more depth, I think, when you actually take something as simple as this to this to this. It gives it more, I don't know, it's kind of like a really exciting chapter of a book. It's like, oh my God, what just happened? So it's a shape, it's a colors, it's a, it goes with the musicality on that, okay? We don't normally walk that one. There are some styles of dances that do walk it, like this. It reminds me of Laverne and Shirley. You remember the one where she was like, come up and see me sometime, or maybe. But anyways, it reminds me of Laverne and Shirley when you walk it. So we do it as layers, or as levels, but we're not going to do levels today. So we're here. We're going to go between the three, Bodywave and the Taxeem and reverse Taxeem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bodywave. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Head slide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whenever I do a head slide, I do one here too with the levels. But whenever I do a head slide and my arms are above my head, you'll always see me kind of do this forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then backwards. 6, 7, 8. So it's kind of like coming at you. Not really. It just kind of gives it a little bit of depth to it. That's all it is. But when you're doing your head slides, remember that it's a head slide and not a whole head slide. One of the people years ago told me to put my hands like this and then put my chin into those hands, and then once my muscles got trained to do that, I could release them, and then my head just kind of did what it was supposed to do. Make sure, and you don't even realize you're doing it sometimes, that your mouth doesn't follow your head slide. I had a student for years that her mouth would follow her head slide, and none of us noticed it until once we were watching a performance video. We're like, ooh. So just kind of watch what your face is doing, put a smile on your face, and do it, okay? All right, I'm going to put a song on, we're going to drill all those. all things that the more you drill them and practice them, the easier they get and the more they become natural. Because right now, walking like this is not really natural. So I think that once you get and they start feeling more natural, then everything else falls into place, especially that Bodywave and that Taxeem. Like I said, going backwards on the Taxeem is usually easier for me than going forward. When you are doing those walks, remember that you're leading with your right foot, but you're pushing off with your back foot. So it's kind of like a really slow run. Because we don't run, no, not a run. We're not, yeah, a run. I don't run, so I don't know. But you know when you run, how you're like pushing off with your back foot going forward? So that's what you're doing, yes. You're not running like da-da-da, because then you'll fall on your face. So when you're running, you're actually walking and running when you're pushing off on that back foot forward. So that's basically where I was going with that. I don't run unless I'm being chased. And I probably still won't run because I'll just take it, whatever it is. I'm not going to run. So it's just that. All right. So the last one we're going to cover is the ribcage rotation. How are we on time? We have 1 minute. Oh. So I will put the ribcage rotation on the shelf and we'll start with ribcage rotation next week. With this one, I know maybe like the Bodywave and the Taxeem, those are review movements. So I always talk about finding your edge. So with these movements, what I want you to do is even though that Bodywave is naturally in your body and that Taxeem is naturally in your body, what I want you to do is find that edge. So with your Taxeem, find that additional pull down and pull down. Use those obliques to get that Taxeem in there instead of your knees and your legs. With your Bodywave, really concentrate on that internal rotation there and having it an actual body wave instead of a body butt wave. Body butt, okay? So try to get that. With your arms, make sure that you are make sure that your arms are staying where they're supposed to. We had talked about alignment once where if your elbows and your ears are in line with each other, then your arms are aligned. So if my elbow, that means that the audience can still see me. Here they're not aligned, my elbow's behind or in front of my ear, and here it's like way behind. So if your elbow and your ear are aligned, then your audience still should be able to see your face. So if you think about your alignment, I'm hyper flexible in my upper body. So when I do arm undulations, my arm undulations are way back here. Nobody should do that. So keep them where they're even for you. So here, even though my arms are down here, my elbow and my ear are aligned. Because if I bring it back up, my elbow and my ear are aligned. So I like to use that as alignment. So if you can get your upper arm to go backwards more here, always remember that your elbows have to come and then lead forward. So even if you're here, that's perfectly okay. Here's not, because obviously we close off. So here, I always, like I said, elbow ear. It's the easiest thing for me to remember. And I know that if my hand's here, that I'm not aligned, my body's not aligned. Hips, knees, and toes all need to be in alignment. So if you're in your performance angle here, your toes, your knees, and your hips are all over each other. All right, so you're not like this, right, where your knees are way over your hips and or over your toes and that. You're actually right here where everything is aligned. Think of it as sitting in a chair. So if you go to sit down in a chair, you don't just kind of sprawl at first. But you actually go and you sit down in your chair and your toes, your knees, and your hips are all in your alignment here. So your hips and your shoulders should be aligned, and then your knees should be right over your toes. And then when you lift your arms up, your elbows and your ears are aligned. So all of our movements are done right about here. And your whole spine is in alignment there. That will protect your lower back immensely. because we want to be sure that we dance until we're like 1,000,005, which who knows what happens then. But I want to dance for a really long time. I want to be that dancer where people are like, why is she still dancing? I want to be her. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, week 1. I take a picture of the board. The video will be edited and up sometime soon, hopefully. But I love you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.